Now, hold on. So, this is now a second video because my phone only allows me to make 33-minute videos at a time. And once it gets to be at around 34 minutes and about 34 minutes, I'm going to say the same thing again because I've noticed sometimes my phone will go over 33 minutes. So this is now video 2 of the CIA Hyper Game Theory video series. Again, today's date is June 29th, 2021, and my name is Leslie Williams. So I'm going to basically just pick up where I left off at the end of video 1. The YouTube account you see this video in will look for the videos that are uploaded on the same day and or within the same week. Look for the video that says that this, about 3-4 minutes into it, I state in that video that this video is going to be labeled CIA Hyper Game Theory video series, because sometimes I'm not able to title my videos right away once they're uploaded. Okay, usually because of shit that's going on either towards me or around me directly connected to gang stalking. Okay, hold on. So stay with the YouTube account that you're watching the video through. So anyways, so I'm going to pick back up where I left off at in the tail end of the previous video, which is video 1 of this series. So in CIA Hyper Game Theory that is applied upon gang stalking victims' life, this is where they're controlling you by enforcing the program on you and your life, covertly managed, so that you are only left with a very small amount of options to survive. Now, at the tail end of the previous video, I made a statement along the lines that, yes, you can go to churches and try and get food. You can go to food banks and try and get food. You can go to social services and try and get benefits. You can even go to Social Security and try to get benefits. But understand and know this. The only reason why some victims are allowed to work part-time or in crappy jobs. Some victims are allowed to get benefits. But they're only letting you do that until they can achieve other crimes that take time for them to achieve, like brain entrainment. Okay? Like letting you stay homeless for 5-10 years, so that during that time period, they can stage events against you periodically so police can file falsified documentation about you, which I discussed in the tail end of the previous video, that in order to get illegal probate control of victims, and trust me, this is not the only thing going on in gang stalking, so don't think that that's what this video series is about. That's just an introduction to you. Me exposing that is an introduction to you concerning only one of the crime motivations. Okay? So, in order to get legal probate control of you, they got to claim you're a threat to yourself or others, or that you can't take care of yourself, or that you're mentally ill, or a combination of all three. And then once they get the legal probate control of you and you're put in a group home that is owned by the organized crime syndicate that totally destroyed every aspect of your life intentionally and put you out on the street and staged events against you so you can be blamed for them, so that the cops have a normal apparent reason to create the falsified documentation about you, that then over time becomes to be, because they staged events all throughout, over the years. So they'll stage an event in 2012, turn around and stage another one in 2014 or 15, stage another one in 2018, stage another one in 2021, stage another one in 2023. That is because, in part, for this one criminal motivation concerning this crime, is that they need a long history on paperwork. And they will rotate cops, so a bunch of different cops are making the same general types, the same statements within incident reports, information sheets, and police reports about the victim. I think that's done so they can turn around and say, well, how can all these different cops be observing the same thing about you related to the type of lie they put in the police report? Okay? So, they will rotate cops when they stage events at businesses. They'll rotate employees. Okay? Anybody from management to employees to even security guards of that business and or business plaza that the business may be on. Make no mistake about it. Hold on. So, when gang stalking victims have their personal lives intentionally destroyed, they know what type of circumstances they're putting the victim in. Like, for instance, when they make you homeless, they know that you don't have money to buy any land. They know even if you did have money to buy land, they can work in schemes to take that land away from you. Literally, this is no joke. Okay? Hold on. So, they can also, but most gang stalking victims don't have their own land. So let's say that 98% of all victims don't have any property that they can go and pitch a tent on anywhere at any time. So then they know once they make you homeless that you got to go somewhere, because every creature on this planet literally has to sleep. So they know there's no avoiding it. Okay? So then now they're controlling that circumstance, where they can literally stage an event using anybody at any time. They can even nearly influence the victim through voice skull and voice morphing to pick up the phone and call 911 after they're staging an event in a wooded area anytime throughout any part of that 24-hour period, especially at night. Okay? So trust me when I say gang stalking wants to put you in circumstances so that they then have power over that circumstance. Just like they have the power to control what type of benefits you get through Social Security, social services, through banks. Okay, they control your mail. They control all of your online activity as well. Okay, they control it by manipulating it, by hacking into your accounts, manipulating it, deleting things, deleting evidences, editing evidences, and a bunch of other different applied techniques as well. So, if you want to try and find a lawyer, even if you got money and you call that law firm and they see you called it, well then, and they're monitoring the call, so they can literally see that you have requested for that lawyer to call you back. So they can even reroute his phone call to them by spoofing your phone and or his phone, so that when he calls your let me just put it to you this way. Go to Google and type in phone call rerouting and gang stalking, faking email replies, deleting emails, okay, as well as using even lawyers against you, including the ones that you hire. Judges are also massively reported to be directly connected to this crime, as well as prosecutors, members of DA's offices, state, county, and local cops, and much more. Public defenders, absolutely. Okay, so we are told as we grow up, if you grew up in America, over time you start to witness, you even start to believe how our system works. If you're a crime victim, you should be able to call the cops and get help. They are then supposed to investigate it, take a police report, and try and find the criminals responsible for any and all things you endured through that criminal event. They also know, but at the time you get to an adult, you have a pretty good general idea about how the system works judicially, courts. So they know that a constitution exists. They know that you have a right to a trial. They know everything about the system, and they know what you're going to do once you start becoming an open gang stalking victim. They know you're going to run to the cops. They know you're going to run to the FBI. They know you're going to try and reach out to political officials. They know it all. Because it's true. They didn't design this program to then sit back and say, well, let's see what happens through happen chance. And if she runs to the FBI or he runs to the FBI, now what are we going to do? No. The program is perpetrated in a way to where that it doesn't matter where you run to. TV stations, newspapers, FBI, okay, DHS, state, county, and local police. They already know you're going to run to these places. Because all human beings run for help when they are being victimized and made to feel powerless over it continually. Right? And since you were raised to believe that calling the cops is supposed to help you, you are raised to believe through motion pictures and educated knowledge that the FBI is supposed to be investigating crimes and all these other supposed law enforcement agencies. They already know you know that. So they already know you've been conditioned into believing it. So when they start victimizing you, they know you're going to run to it. They know you're going to run to the ACLU, papers, news stations, and all law enforcement. They know you're going to run to it. They also know you're going to run to politicians. So ask yourself this question then. Why are tens of thousands of gang stalking victims, who are part of the hundreds of thousands who are being victimized in America right now, all over the internet, daily stating that they cannot get no one to help them anywhere? Anywhere from politicians to federal law enforcement to state, county, and local law enforcement to members of the DA's offices, governors, okay, state attorney generals, all politicians. Okay? They cannot get help from no one at all. Now, that's huge. That is friggin' massive. So I think we can begin to say to ourselves that it's obviously a program run through the government if the government will not assist you in 1 second of victimization, let alone 10, 15, 20, 30 years of victimizations. Because that's literally how you can be gang stalked for your entire life. Just Google my statement, sweethearts. Just hear me out. So, in the first video, I brought up a term called CIA hypergame theory and gang stalking. And I made a lot of statements that will help you find some information on the internet related to it. So, I brought up the analogy of playing the game Monopoly. When you play the game of Monopoly, it's got a fixed set of rules and a fixed set of options for you to play the game in a specific way. No other options available for you concerning how Monopoly is supposed to be played. So that's a fixed game. Okay? In CIA hyper game theory concerning what's reported about it online connected to gang stalking crimes, you can consider that it's a game that they put the victim's life in and the victim in, where it's only got a set controlled amount of parameters for the victim to survive and function daily. Okay? Where they live at, what their options for money and work are. Okay? What their options are for resources through the government so you can survive. Okay? So, they control it all. They control and manage every single aspect of every single thing in your life. They destroy it and then control the effects and circumstances created from it. Okay? Now, once you are in destitution, you definitely have a lot lesser options within your life, which is why it was created, in part. So then now you sit back while you're destitute. You're not able to work. You don't have a car. You have no friends or family at all, no matter what any of them might say. Okay, at any time, anywhere. Because, trust me, when you get to be an extremely high-level profile gang stalking victim, through experience and then educated knowledge, over time, you will, and when you research this crime and stay with my accounts of my exposures, you'll see how all this is possible. So don't dismiss anything I'm saying and say to yourself, no way that can be done. Baby cakes and sweethearts, every description I've made so far is widely already massively exposed to be being done, including every single day against thousands and thousands of Americans every day. In every neighborhood, town, city, county, and state. So if you put a human being within the CIA hyper game theory, that means that they're controlling every aspect of your life and all the options that are available to you for you to function while you're in the game. And the game ain't nothing but where they're just basically controlling your life and its circumstances and your available options to you that are left so you can survive daily. Okay, so then when you look at the game of Monopoly, you see that, again, you see that it's got a set parameters of how you are, a set fixed parameters of only one way to play the game. The only one way to play Monopoly is by and through following the rules and playing the game within those rules. Same thing with CIA hyper game theory. They control every aspect of your life and then put you in circumstances and then control your ability to make you unable to function within it. Okay? So basically they're just they're putting you in a bottleneck situation to where as the days and the weeks and the years go by, those very small amount of available options that are left for you to survive get slowly taken away from you. Because they want you to end up in the environment they control so they can then set you up to then exploit you, including for 30, 40, 50 years at a time. That's a fucking lootly. Now, I have reported in some of my videos about how this game, if you ever saw the movie Troy with Brad Pitt, the movie Troy with Brad Pitt openly shows that just hear me out. The movie Troy with Brad Pitt is about the country of Troy. Okay? but it also has got a storyline attached to it. And part of the storyline is a guy who's well known through history to be a mighty warrior. Achilles was his name. Have you ever heard that slang term, Achilles heel? Okay. I forgot how to spell Achilles in case you're having a hard time understanding my pronunciation. So let me try and spell it. And my mind's eye is telling me that it's Achillies. So just research Brad Pitt, the movie Troy. Research it at Google and you'll see the accurate description of the role he plays within the movie and the name of that role. Now the reason why this is important is two things. Gang stalking crimes itself is like a Trojan horse. Just hear me out, because you're gonna think to yourself, damn, by the time you get to either the end of this video or the end of the third video, and that's going to compel you to stay with this video series. Oh, absolutely. So check this out. Now, in the movie Troy, the mighty warrior Achilles basically fought for specific kings, including corrupt ones. Now, when a bunch of different kings got together and then went to go attack the country of Troy, and the way that the city of Troy, the Troy was like engulfed in a big, gigantic, massive, big wall that seemed to be impenetrable, which made it extremely hard to invade. Okay, plus they were mighty warriors too. Oh, absolutely. So, Achilles was a worldwide known mighty warrior in that part of history. And he could, I mean, this guy was extremely skillful in the arts of battle. Okay, so he had an extreme, massive worldwide reputation as being someone you do not want to mess with, not even for a second, literally. No matter how badass you are, this guy was kick-ass to the extreme. Okay, he was literally unbeatable in his time. But one of the weaknesses that all human beings have, if you go and take a look down by your ankle, if you were to take your index finger and place it right where your ankle bone begins from the leg and then go down towards the feet. So what you want to look at is you want to look at that soft spot that's right below to the right of your right ankle, right before it leads to the foot. Okay? Right above the heel, right below the ankle bone. Okay, that's, right below the heel. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you were to get cut there, there's an extremely big tendon there that's dedicated to joining the back of the leg to that structure of the ankle and the foot. So I forgot the name of the tendon. But anyways, that area is extremely sensitive. If you get that cut, no matter how you get it cut, car accident, somebody knifes you there, you're disabled. Immediately, you are disabled. Okay? You can be 400 pounds, nothing but massive muscle. You can be a 30-degree karate expert. If you get that disabled, where your Achilles heel is affected so bad, you can't even walk. Okay? And that's how Achilles was brought down, by being shot in that part of that ankle area part that I talked to you about right there a minute ago. He was shot in it with an arrow, and it immediately defeated him. Now, the reason why I brought that up concerning CIA hyper game theory is that when you look at all of the mechanisms of the program of gang stalking, you're going to see it's wide, it's massively wide, and every single bit of the program itself is heinous to the extreme, and every bit of it is protected at every level. So when you got a human being whose life is being controlled by a program that is protected at every level, courts, police, federal law enforcement, all politicians, including governors, state attorney general's office, everybody is controlled through this crime. Everybody. Okay, when it comes to the system and you trying to reach out for help so you can get out of the crime. Then they also have total control over any and all environments that you see in the community. reference to like businesses, libraries, universities, colleges, high schools, post offices, banks, all businesses. They have direct control over all of them. Because you got to understand something. Who are the main implicated hosts of this crime? Well, all alphabet agencies are absolutely massively implicated. Obviously, of course, as well as fusion centers, state, county, and local cops, defense contractors, as well as the DoD, the DIA, the CIA, the NSA, the DHS, the DOJ, and all these other wild demonic agencies. They're all implicated to be, massively implicated to be the host of it. So try suing anybody in the government for not observing your inalienable rights given actually to you by God, not by a piece of paper or not by man. Okay? So they already know they got you completely controlled. They can control your life from A to Z, where you end up at, and everything that happens to you that can be done to you through this crime, and then how every second of everything that's done is protected, and how they can easily set you up in a numerous amount of ways, including implying you're involved in this or that when you had nothing to do with it whatsoever. Because they already know they can accuse you of anything, blame you for it, anything, and blame you for it, and prosecute you concerning it. Because they control everything from judges to prosecutors to DA's office to public defenders to state, county, local cops to federal law enforcement to intelligence agencies to the fucking military. They control it all. If you're a gang stalking victim and you walk into 5 businesses in one day and you're harassed there, every time you go there, each and every day, that should immediately tell you that somebody's got a position of power and influence. Then when you go to the cops to complain about it and they don't do jack shit and even call you crazy, what does that tell you? We're talking, who's got the power to go into a bank, a post office? Ain't no dumbass little street thug got the power to do that. Okay? Not even an organized crime cop can do that and still be able to get what he wants from that bank or post office without him knowing that when he goes in there, nothing bad can happen to him as a result of why he's going in there, concerning how he's trying to effect a crime through the post office, like stealing your rent or stealing your mail. That cop, if he's working alone or is loosely connected to organized crime or even connected to organized crime, okay, that's not connected to this program, he can easily be caught. But if the program is being affected against you, all places that you see when you go out and about in the community are completely approachable and totally controllable. Thoroughly, from A to Z. So how do we live our lives as human beings? We wake up in the morning, we go to the bathroom, we brush our teeth, we get coffee. Okay, we plan then to start our day. How do most Americans start their day? In that way, then they get up and go to work, they go to school, then they go grocery shopping, they might go see a movie. Every single one of these types of places, every place that you can think of that you go to within your community, Google that type of place to gang stalking. Okay? Now, so, if you can place a human being in extreme circumstances and then make sure that victim is never allowed to get out of them, and then use that circumstance as a means of control, then they can control you where you end up at. Did you know that if you're arrested for a misdemeanor and put in jail for 29 days, you will immediately lose Social Security and your Social Services benefits? Did you know that? Well, this crime intentionally let me know that for fear injection. After they created the homelessness of me from 4 apartments in Michigan and 1 in Tennessee. Once 2002 started, when the open community-based gang stalking started. But they were already creating homelessness of me from at least two to three other apartments way prior to that. Absolutely. And massive job loss when I was able to work. Absolutely. Now, so check this out. So, how many options then do you think you would have left if you had no family? You got to remember, you got to think in the way that a gang stalking victim thinks, because what I'm about ready to tell you is literally imposed upon a gang stalking victim's life thoroughly and completely. So you imagine yourself as a person that has no friends at all, not even an acquaintance. Okay? You have no family members at all. Okay? To rely on for anything. And make no mistake about it, you should also research family infiltration and social infiltration in gang stalking extensively. So, you've been made homeless. You literally don't have one human being to run to, even if it's just for $1 or food for one time. You have literally no one in your life at all that you can depend on for anything. Okay? Well, this crime intentionally affects that upon your life usually before they start massively tearing down what's left of your life so they can get a hold of you to exploit you in numerous ways. So then, look at the options that a human being would have left in their life if they have no money, if they have no nowhere to live. Okay? So if they have nowhere to live, and whether they have any money or not, anything from, I mean, when I say any money, I mean no money at all, not even a penny, literally. You can have 1 penny or less. You can have 1 penny and be a multi-millionaire, and still, in your life can still be thoroughly, completely torn down and thoroughly, completely controlled through this crime. Because the pocketbook and purse of the government is literally endless. And the power that they got connected to this crime is totally endless. So, when you look at, so let me throw some things out, so because I'm really trying to drive home to you, for you to see. You need to see this with your mind's eye, and it needs to be reinforced into your memory. The fact that imagine you being homeless, no car, no money, no bicycle. Okay? We'll give you a tent, though. Let's say you got a tent. But you have no land, no money, no social relationships to depend on, even for a second, for anything. Not even a penny. Okay? So you have no one to depend on, nowhere to turn to, and no means to get around. Alright? Well, these little psychotic whores who host this crime, they know you're going to end up in a tent. Because they're literally the ones who created you to be in one by making you homeless. So they know you have no land, because they've already been in your life for at least 5 to 10 years before they started any open gang stalking against you. At least 5 to 10 years before. That's needed so they can make sure they take the in-depth, thorough psychological profile of their victim, which assists then later in brain entrainment, visual and auditorial. It assists them in developing a more personalized program against you. Gang stalking is a program that operates through general applied techniques, methods, and tactics, and all of its other attributes, but they will also tailor the program to be perpetrated against you in specific ways, unique ways, specifically designed for you, because they know how you think. They know what you believe in. Okay? So, ask yourself, if you have no money, no one to turn to, no resources, no transportation, no food, the only thing you've got is a tent, and where you go to pitch that tent up at, 99% of the time is not going to be your prop. It's going to be in an area where you can be arrested at. Okay? So, the tracking, which is the stalking of gang stalking, stalks you to what area. And then it can... There's an ant on my right by my phone. Hold on. Okay, so anyways. So, this crime knows you're in this circumstance, and they know that they are controlling all your options. Food banks, charities, homeless shelters, police, courts, okay, social services, social security. They know that they can control all of it, and they are also aware of what you're aware of concerning this crime. They know every single bit of educated knowledge you are aware of, and they know every single thing that they've already done to you. They know, and they have the absolute ability to be able to know what you understand concerning this crime pertaining to the educated knowledge and the experience. Welcome to remote neural monitoring, one of its features and capabilities. So they know everything you know. Make no mistake about it. About them, okay? Through educated knowledge and experience. So they know you know this. They know that they have squeezed you into a very small way to survive, where you barely have any options at all. So that's CIA hypergame theory, where they're putting you in the game, they're putting you within the parameters of the program, and then controlling the available options and resources, okay, that should be open to any and all persons if those resources naturally exist, like social services, social security, and being able to work and being able to function in your society without being without any aspect of this crime being perpetrated against you. Okay, so when you are put in this program and your life is destroyed, they intentionally make sure they keep you in it, buying through additional applied techniques and covert cooperating relationships. If the police want to investigate you being gang stalked and nobody gets arrested or prosecuted, well, then that just gives them a free rein to continue it. And we're talking about police at the federal level as well. Okay, they want to investigate it because they're part of it, and they want to investigate it because they know the victim's in a program that's designed to take the victim somewhere so they can be exploited in numerous ways. So they're controlling the victim's available options to survive on their own. Now, a minute ago, I was talking about Achilles from the movie Troy. So let's take a look at. I just got done explaining to you somewhat more than just a brief summary, but somewhat enough. I explained to you enough concerning what gang stalking is doing to people all over the country in the tens of thousands. They literally got hundreds of thousands of victims, but there's tens of thousands of those that are online reporting this crime daily on every online platform. So if they got the ability to make sure that they put you in this program, make sure all the crimes perpetrated against you are totally protected, and then they got the ability to control all of the resources that you're allowed to have to survive as the program continues. So now what we have is that we got a target who's living on nothing but a nonstop hell every day, while the targeting can absolutely increase, including in very extreme sadistic ways like electromagnetic weapons torture, ultrasonic sound bone conduction torture, directed energy weapons torture, non-consensual human experimentation projects, which are nothing but absolute torture 24/7, even when the victims are sleeping. So they know every single thing they're doing to the victim. They know about all the control they have over the victim's life, and they know everything about the victim, and they know everything about how much the victim knows through experience and educated knowledge. They know it all. So if they can control it's like a burglar breaking into your house. And let's say you got a burglar breaking into your house. Just hear me out. Say you got a burglar breaking into your house and 5 of them are there. All right? And so that burglar intentionally lets you see that he's shutting all the windows and all the drapes. He's shutting all the doors and locking them. He's intentionally letting you see that each one has a gun. And he's also intentionally letting you see that each one has got the capacity to be violent and will have no hesitation in being violent. So if you're trapped in your living room after you've witnessed all of this, what available options do you think you're going to have in real time if you don't have a gun on you, if you have no way of defending yourself even against one perpetrator, let alone 5? Well, those 5 people know that they have corralled you into one room. And once you're corralled into that room,